ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। नमामि गौडपादं च शङ्करं श्रीसुरेश्वरं स्वामिनं सच्चिदानन्दमिन्द्रं तं ज्ञानरूपिणे। ओम नारायण नारायण नारायण। The word karmanya karmaya pashyat. The word karma is understood differently by different people. Okay. That's why the interpretations differ according to their acharya, according to their understanding. We are talking of the Upanishadic tradition, which is mainly represented by Shankaracharya. Okay, others also part of it. Other acharyas are also part of it. The main tradition. So here, karma has a root. Because we have to go to the root of karma. That is, we have to go to the root of karma, and it can be solved at the root only, not at the level of karma alone. First, karma is we have to see. Karma involves the individuality. That I am an individual. That I am related to a second thing. 2 points. Third is, see, when you are acting, when you are doing karma, you have to be an individual. You are in association with body and sense organs. You are in association called upadhi. You require an upadhi of body and sense organs, and then you are related to the second thing. Relationship with the second thing, relationship with the other, involves time and space, because the relationship involves a duality and also the time and space. Okay, therefore when we say karma, the situation in which karma is possible, the entire situation is taken into consideration as karma. Karma is not simply acting, because simply acting cannot be stopped. Simply doing karma has got a root. The root is a desire inside, a restlessness inside. The desire springs from a restlessness. The restlessness springs from your sense of individuality. Because as an individual, I am not happy with myself. I want to become something. The sense of becoming is there instinctively in every jiva. Therefore, it is the very jivatvam. So, in short, in Vedanta, karma is equated with jivatvam. In one word, karma is equated with jiva bhava. Because as long as you are jiva, you remain an individual. Second point is you have an upadhi. That is, you are in association with body and sense organs and mind. Third point is you are related to the second one. You are related to the other. You stand as an individual. You are associated with body, mind and sense organs. Third is you are in relationship with the other. These 3 points put together is jiva bhava. Okay. So the problem is that the pain and pleasure, you are continuously subject to pain and pleasure, happiness and suffering. Continuously there is a fear, there is a tension, all these things, because you are subject to experiences, various experiences of good and bad, positive and negative. So these experiences are inevitable because you are interacting, you are related to the other one. As long as you are related to the second thing, second people, objects, situations, as long as you are related, the pain and pleasure, sukha and dukkha are inevitable. Now the relation is there because of karma. See, because of our past karmas, you get related to various objects and things. Because karmas govern our relationships. Now question comes, can we stop the relationship itself? We can't stop, because as long as the karma is there, you get related to people and things, you various situations, you continuously get related to the various situations and things. Now, can we stop at the level of karma itself? Karma itself cannot be stopped, because karma means the result of karma, punya papa here. We are talking of punya papa. It is the punya papa that is bringing about these relationships. And relationships inevitably bring into pain and pleasure. Okay. So the punya papa itself cannot be erased, because they are rooted in karma. Karma is rooted in dharma, because the Shastra says this is dharma, this is adharma, this is virtue, this is vice, this is dharma and adharma. This is virtue and this is vice. And virtue and vice are inevitable, because as long as you have got a raga and dvesha, like you love something and hate something else. As long as you have got raga and dvesha, we cannot prevent doing some or other action. And some or other action is inevitable. When you do some action, it will be either good or bad. If it is good or bad, you will get some punya and papa. Some punya and papa you get it, then as a result of it you will get some experiences of pain or happiness. See the sequence. Happiness and suffering are inevitable, because the relationship is inevitable, because there is a punya papa. Punya papa is choiceless. There is a karma for it, dharma for it. Dharma is inevitable, because you are an individual, you are happy. Then why we are happy? Because I am an individual. As long as I am an individual, I have no choice, I must stand. And why you stand as an individual? Why do you stand as an individual? And there is a world around you and you are facing. This is the root cause of entire edifice of karma. Okay, this entire palace of karma is grounded on that. Because all this is a link, is like a chain, various links connected with the other. So you cannot get rid of each link in the chain. Each link in the chain you cannot get rid of at its own level. You have to come to the basic root, the fundamental root. The root cause of the entire chain is avidya, the misunderstanding, that I take myself to be an individual, which I am not really. See, I take myself, I find myself to be an individual, which I am not really. What I am not, I take myself to be. This is the sense of individuality. That's why we call it as a swabhavikam. Swabhavikam is instinctive. All this series is instinctive. That you are an individual, you find yourself to be. As an individual, you are unhappy and you want to become something. Once you are an individual, there is a sense of becoming. I want to become something. You see, the whole world is running around. Every jiva wants to become something, wants to become, wants to achieve, wants to experience. See, wants to become, wants to achieve, wants to experience, wants to acquire something. Why? If you watch the people, why people are running around? Why all this? What is pushing them? Nobody knows. In fact, nobody questions it. People take it for granted that I should become something, I should achieve something, I should become the biggest man in the world. People that I want to become, what I want to become, how I want to become, each one may have a slightly different idea. But everybody wants to become something, wants to achieve something. Nobody questions why there should be such an urge in our heart which is pushing us. Nobody questions it. See, this is where the human weakness, human limitation. We take it for granted that I want to become and pursue that feeling, that desire to become something. You pursue it, you allow it, and you follow it. There is a desire to become something, achieve something, become something. So there is a desire. And nobody questions why this desire arising. Can this desire be fulfilled by if I want to become something, and if I become, by becoming something, can it be fulfilled permanently? No, nobody questions. That there is an urge, instinctive urge in everybody to become something, to acquire something, to enjoy something. So there is that urge, and we take that urge for granted and we follow it. That's all. We follow it. Vedanta questions that. It is an instinct. People say that is natural, therefore that need not be questioned, they say. Now, simple answer to this is, if it is natural, you should not be under the pressure. You should feel it naturally relaxed and comfortable. If that urge is natural to you, why are you feeling the pressure of the urge? Why do you feel pressed down by that urge? The urge is pushing you. You feel so tired, exhausted. Why? So if you watch this urge, how this urge is pushing the human being, all jivas, why human being, every jiva, it is pushing them on and on. The person who feels exhausted with this pushing, that person has got vairagyam. When you are exhausted with it, you feel that there is something wrong with my very position of this going on and on. There is somewhere some mistake in it. Then I don't know why I am in this position like this. This is where you approach a Vedantic guru. This is when you do it, because your mind is feeling that something somewhere is wrong. The whole world is naturally, instinctively running on. But nobody is questioning, and this running, this pushing, this becoming, sense of becoming doesn't seem to take us anywhere near the freedom. This desire to become itself is becoming a problem. And people, without questioning it, trying to fulfill it. And more you fulfill it, more you try to become. You become something. And once you become something, you acquire something, you achieve something. The desire to achieve, desire to acquire, desire for more doesn't stop. In fact, it further gets encouragement. There is a further desire. You want to become more again more. It is depleting our energy. It is frustrating. You keep on going on and on. You don't know where you go. You watch the entire humanity. Not even humanity, watch the devatas and even animals, plants. Everybody is pushing. Nobody knows where we are. Therefore, we say this is an instinctive state. This state of jiva, only manusya. Jiva is a common to all manusya. Animals and plant life below means lower than us, and human being in between. Pitrus and devatas are higher. Okay. All these five come to the jiva. So with your jivahood, we have been pushed. Something is urging us. And we say, that means the karma is urge. There is a struggle in life. Struggle means there is a urge. Being prompted by the urge, we are pushed on. That being pushed on is called a struggle. If you like the word struggling, life, you are all struggling to become something. A struggle is prompted by a desire to become. There is a desire to become because I am an individual. As an individual, I am not happy, therefore there is an urge. The urge is pushing me into struggle. So the struggle, the urge and individuality. That is the jivahood, jivatvam, jiva bhava. Struggle, urge and jiva bhava. All these three are one. One means they are just very close to each other. They cannot be handled at the level of struggle alone. By struggling, by doing more karma, you can't stop the karma. By struggling, you will be struggling only. Because the struggling itself cannot be handled at its own level. It has got a cause of it. The cause is the urge to become. The urge to become itself cannot be solved because it has got a root. It is that I am somebody. And instinctively I am somebody who is by nature unhappy, who is by his very nature is unacceptable. The very nature of me as an individual is not acceptable to me. That's why the very individual is trying to become. He is pushed on. Therefore we say karma is struggle. Struggle has a root, a cause, that is an urge. Urge has got a cause, that is your sense of individuality. Therefore here he takes, karma means we take the whole setup. The whole situation is karma. This karma of struggling in life or becoming, that I want to become something, that I want to acquire, achieve and experience. More you experience, the experience comes to an end and again you want another experience. That comes to an end, again experience. Again comes to an end, again experience. There is something pushing me on and on. No experience is permanent. No experience satisfies me. Therefore I keep on seeking. And the seeking is so instinctive that I have no choice. In fact, all my activities, all my struggles are prompted by that instinctive urge. It is not that my struggling can be stopped. In fact, struggling itself is motivated by an urge. Therefore, struggle is not an independent thing. It is motivated by an urge. As long as I have that urge, struggling cannot be stopped. Therefore, karma cannot be stopped. Karma cannot be stopped. Karma means struggling, acting, cannot be stopped because karma is motivated by a sense of becoming, an urge to become. That urge to become is again motivated by my sense of individuality. I am an individual limited being. Oh, unhappy. Not happy as myself as I am. Therefore there is an urge to become. And the becoming puts me into some action, some effort, some interaction, some relation, something. Different kinds of action, whatever it might be. Some action. Tentatively action may look like as if it is suspended. It's like a car in a slope. In a slopey road, the car is going up. You put a brake, it won't fall. Or the car in a slope like this, if the car is going, you apply a brake. So the car has got already inward push. In the inward force is there. The car is trying to go down. Because of the brake you only stopped. Because of the opposite force you stopped it tentatively. You remove the brake, you remove the opposite force, the car has got already the force, it will push on. Similarly, our tentative desires, fulfilling, acquiring money, status, etc., they are all like tentative brakes. But the car has got a natural force. The car in a slope. Similarly, Jiva has a natural instinctive urge and it is pushing him on. Therefore, here he says, therefore he says, karmanya karmaya pashet. This karma means not struggle alone. The urge which is pushing you to the karma, the urge inside you. What is that urge? It's sense of becoming. I want to become because the very I want to become, therefore there is a struggle. See, struggle is motivated by becoming, want to become. The want to become is springing from the I, the sense of I. I is individual, I is jivahood, jiva. Therefore, when we say karma, we take the entire gamut, entire this thing together, all this chain put together. The struggle, the urge, and the individual. All this put together is called karma. So therefore, this controversy about some people say karma should be done, some people say karma sannyasa, all this controversy arises in their own definitions of karma. By what do they mean by karma? They take karma in a particular sense, in a restrictive sense, then they give a different philosophy, different school of philosophy they develop. But here in Upanishad, in Vedanta, or in Bhagavad Gita, we take karma means this whole struggle and the urge. So without that urge, struggle cannot be stopped. Tentatively you may stop, like in deep sleep you are not struggling, or when you are bedridden you are not watching, but in bedridden also you are struggling. There is an inside struggle. It is something like you want to speak, but somebody closes your mouth, who holds your mouth like this, you can't speak. But there is an urge to speak. What can you do? You are unable to speak. You will hold it for a while, but the urge cannot be stopped because it is there inside. And urge remains as long as I am a jiva. Therefore, the jivahood, the urge, and the struggle, all this put together is karma. This karma is a misunderstanding upon you. This whole waking state is a misunderstanding, is a wrong understanding about yourself, because your real nature is, in your real nature you are free from this whole individuality. The individuality who has an urge, since he has an urge, he is struggling hard. Okay? Individual has an urge, being prompted by the urge, he is struggling hard. All this put together is called one waking state. This entire waking state is not real you. Your real you is as you find yourself in deep sleep. In deep sleep, you are such a person. You are such, not person, but you exist. You exist naturally, spontaneously, without any struggle. Without a struggle, without an urge, without individuality. Okay? You are free from individuality. You are free from becoming, sense of becoming. There is no urge on your part. As you find yourself in deep sleep, you have no urge to become. There is no struggle on your part, because you are not there as an individual. You transcend your individuality, isn't it? You dissolve your individuality and stand as what? Stand as an existence, infinite existence. You stand as an infinite existence without the urge, without the struggle. In the waking, you have a struggle, you have an urge, and you are an individual. In deep sleep, you are free from all this. So, what you are, your real nature is the way you are in your deep sleep. The way you are in deep sleep is your real nature. The struggling nature is, though instinctive, is not your real nature. It's not your essential nature. It is not your swarupa. It is instinctive, but not your nature. I am using the instinctive and nature too differently. Essential nature and instinctive nature. Instinctive nature is choiceless at that level. Yet it is not your real nature. See, it is instinctive. You can't control it. You can't stop it. But it is not your real nature. See the difference? Real nature is called Swarupam in Sanskrit. The instinctive nature is called Swabhava. Swabhava and Swarupa. Shankaracharya uses these words, Swabhava and Swarupa. Swabhava is instinctive nature. That is a jivahood. Swarupa is your Brahma Swarupam. Atma Swarupam, Brahma Swarupam, Sakshit Swarupam, is your real Swarupam. Swa is essential, original, nature, original nature, essential nature, that is your Swarupam. And Swabhava is instinct. That's how you are. You have no choice, but you are helpless. Choiceless means you are helplessly finding. Helplessly, you don't like it, but you are helplessly, that's what you are. An instinctive jivahood, instinctive urge to become, an instinctive struggle on your part is swabhavikam. That means you are helplessly finding yourself in that situation. You are helpless, you can't stop it. You don't like it, but you can't stop it. You are unhappy with it, but you can't stop it. That's how you are. You have been struggling hard. So this helpless nature, instinctive nature, you can't handle as an individual. Note it. Individual has a motive. As long as you have an urge to become, you will be struggling to become. So at this level you can't stop. As an individual, by struggling, by doing something, you can't stop. That's why he told karma is not the means of freedom. You want to become free from this struggling. You want to be free from this becoming. Free from becoming, because the becoming is pushing me. The sense of becoming is pushing me, oh, helplessly pushing me. You want to become free, but you have no way. You don't know how to become free. Because the very becoming is a problem. Then how to be free? I don't know. That's when you approach a guru. Tad vijnanartham gurumeva vigachet shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Upanishad says, Kathopanishad, it is at this time that you are supposed to approach a guru. Then guru comes to you and teaches you. This sense of becoming is not your real nature. It is a misunderstanding. It is a wrong judgment. It is a misunderstanding about yourself. Or it is a wrong thought, wrong conception you have. Because at that level you can't handle anything. Therefore, you as an individual can't solve this problem, because your very being individuality is the problem. Being individual jiva is the problem. Your individual soul or jiva. Your jivahood is the problem. But as a jiva you can't solve the problem. See, note, this is very important. As a jiva you can't solve the problem, because your being jiva itself is the problem. The problem itself cannot, because the problem itself cannot solve it. What is a problem cannot solve it. That means you are being individual, you are struggling, your urge to become itself is a problem, is a part of a problem. That there is an urge to become is a part of the problem. You can't, by struggling hard, you can't do anything. More you struggle, you will be struggling. More you struggle, you will be struggling, remaining struggling alone. Beginningless. You want to become. How? You want to become. How can you stop it? You can't stop it, because it is helpless. It is helplessly, instinctively present. Therefore, Vedanta comes and tells you, you have to understand your real nature. You are not this nature. You are somebody other than this. How can you say that this is not my real nature? I feel it so instinctive. It is instinctive, no doubt. It is swabhava, but not your swarupa. It is swabhava, but not your swarupa. Note it. It is instinctive, but not your real you. How? Because whatever is your real nature cannot be removed. What you can get rid of, what you can remove, what can disappear from you is not your real nature. Your sense of individuality, sense of becoming, your struggle, all this instinctive nature of jivahood is dissolved in your deep sleep. In deep sleep you stand without being a jiva. without being a struggling person, without being a person, without an urge to become something, without being an individual who has an urge to become something. That urge, that individuality and the struggling individuality, all that you have got rid of. Got rid of means you are free from it. Therefore, what you can get rid of, what you can, or in other words, you can stand without it. You can stand without it. In deep sleep, you stand without it, without any effort. Not this point. Not that by some effort you removed your struggling individuality. That's why karmani akarmaya pasya. This karma, this struggling individual, you can just be without that struggling individuality. You can stand without that struggling individual or without the very individual. You can stand free from all this. That is, your deep sleep shows you are already free from it. So what you can get rid of, what you can throw away, what you can push it out of you, not that push it out of you is a way of expression, not that you push it really. By your effort you are not pushing. There is no effort to get rid of individuality. You only find in deep sleep without individual. That's what we say, isn't it? See, the words note it, because the words are dangerous if you use a wrong word. In Vedanta, what is most important is using the right expression. You are not pushing, you are not giving up and remain an individual. See, it's not that you remain an individual and stop struggling. It's not that you remain an individual and stop a becoming person. No. The very individual, the sense of becoming and struggling, all this, who pushed? There is nobody pushing. You find yourself in deep sleep without it, that's all. You find yourself in deep sleep without it. You have not removed it. You find an anubhava in you where you are already free. This is most important. See, there is an anubhava in you. There is a deeper experience. There is a deeper state in you. From that level, this is automatically not there. This is naturally not there. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, it is a jnanam, not karma. Karma means struggling and becoming. By a process of becoming, you can't become free. Because you want to be free from the very process of becoming. The very urge to become. By implementing the urge to become, by the process of becoming, you can't be free from it. See, that is the most important thing. By the very urge to become, the urge will continue. More you implement the urge, more you follow the urge, what else can you do? You are only following it. You are helplessly following it. The urge is pushing you, you are struggling on. The urge is pushing you, you are struggling on. More you struggle, more you will be struggling. More you struggle, more you will be struggling. It is endless. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can be free from it. And we don't know how to get rid of it. This is a real situation. Helpless situation. This is where Shruti says, Shruti means Veda. Veda says that, Guru says, Vedantic Guru, that I shall help you to discover. I shall help you to discover a state in you, a real nature in you, where you are already free from all this struggling self. You are free from this struggling self, struggling individual who has got an urge to become. All this is not in you. You stand as somebody, not a body. Somebody means not an individual. You stand. Sushupti is not an individuality. It is a being. It is an existence. It is a being. Being of what? There is no what. It is being. That's all. It is an absolute being, complete being, infinite being, which is free from all this. Therefore, karmani akarmaya pashat. Karma is individuality. A person who understands the underlying freedom from individuality. See, that means karmani akarmaya pashat. You discover the underlying underlying freedom from individuality by dismissing this individuality, by correcting the misunderstanding of individuality. Karmani akarma. Karma is individuality, the natural urge to become. So this natural urge to become, the urge which is pushing you into struggle, all this karma has to be falsified, has to be negated, and in its place the real nature of you has to be understood. Karmani akarma. Understand the freedom from karma as your real nature of karma. See, the freedom from individuality is the real nature of your individuality. Individuality is a false perception. Individuality, the struggling self, the self which has got a urge to become, the urge to become, that individuality having an urge to become and also continuing the struggle. All this individuality is karma. This karma has to be negated by understanding its real nature, which is free from karma. Okay? Karmani akarmaya pashyati. It means understands the freedom, the real nature, the underlying karma. Akarma is underlying the karma. It is the real nature of karma. Karma is a false appearance of akarma. Akarma is your real nature. Karma is your instinctive nature. See the nature? Swarupa, Swabhava. Your real nature is akarma. Akarma means freedom from karma. Freedom from karma means freedom from struggle. Freedom from sense of becoming. Freedom from individuality. A freedom from individuality, freedom from sense of becoming, freedom from struggle is your real nature. So he says, understand that akarma, which is naturally there, and the misperception is karma. The real nature is akarma. Therefore, understand your real nature akarma as underlying means as a truth. It is standing as a source of karma, the truth of karma, the underlying basis of karma. Karma is a struggling you, the struggling individual. The individual who is struggling, who has got a sense of becoming. Therefore, this sense of becoming, this individual is a karma, and negating this karma, see the underlying akarma. What can be removed? That means you can be free from individuality in deep sleep. Then you can negate it. What can be removed can be negated. Okay? Removed means you are not removing with an effort, but I don't know, because there is no word how to use it. We can only say laya. Sanskrit word, the waking individuality has got a laya. Laya means it goes away. What goes away can be negated. Goes away means you can remain without it. Without waking individual you can remain. That means what? Without waking individual you can remain. Means you can stand away from it. You can get rid of it. What you can get rid of can be negated in your real nature. Therefore, karmani akarmaya pashyat. But why you are talking this all ulta? Ulta means this is opposite way, reverse way you are talking. Here Shankara says, karma karmani viparyayena grihite. Because instinctively there is a misunderstanding, there is a misperception. Your real nature is freedom from all individuality. But I find instinctively to be an individual. There is already a misperception. There is already a misunderstanding. This instinctive misunderstanding I have not acquired. Because who is to acquire? To acquire you have to be an individual. I am talking of the very individuality. How did you come to become an individual? I don't know. Because even to think of it I have to be an individual. Presupposing individuality you think. Okay. Presupposing individuality you think. Therefore you can't know how did I become. And another thing is becoming requires becoming is an event in time, but the very time it is the individual who experiences time. Therefore, that I am an individual is instinctive. It is choiceless. It is not an event happening in time, because an individual experiences a time. Time and individuality are one. Okay, experience of time and experience of yourself as an individual, both they are not two, they are just one. Okay, I experience a time, and also who as an individual I experience the time. It's not that first I remain an individual and later I experience the time. Not that first I experience the time and then later I become an individual. See, time and sense of individuality cannot be separated. They are the one experience. They constitute one experience, time and sense of individuality. So therefore, when did you become an individual? That question itself is a wrong. Wrong if you go by your anubhava. Watch your anubhava. The anubhava doesn't lend a chance for such a question. The question is misplaced. The question is because of wrong angle of looking, the question appears. But if you watch properly, the question has no place. The question has no place. The question is wrong if you go look at your anubhava. Okay. Therefore, karma karmani viparyayena gruhite. Karma is individual having an urge to become and the same individual struggling. This is karma. And akarma. People have misunderstood what is karma and asarma. Therefore, people generally think that karma means doing some an action. Being an individual, doing some an action. Akarma means as an individual not doing and sitting quiet. Sitting idle. They think as an individual sitting idle is akarma. This is misunderstanding. Here he says, karmanya karmaya pash. You are by your real, karma means free from time, free from individuality, free from jiva bhava, free from your jiva bhava, free from individuality, free from time and space. Okay? As an individual, you have time and space. You have an experience of time and space. Time and space is an experience only experienced by as an individual. As an individual. By an individual or as an individual. Anyway you can say. As an individual you have a experience of time. Experience of time as an individual. So, to be free from individual means to be free from time. To be free from time means to be free from karma. You are by your real nature a free being like in deep sleep. You are the being, the absolute being, the all-pervasive being, the infinite being. Okay, not an individual. Individual is a limited being, a specific individual. Individual means a specific. A being is non-specific, is an absolute infinite being. You are an infinite being in your deep sleep. So that is your real being. A non-active being. Non-active means no karma. Karma means no individuality. Karma is not doing or not doing, that's not the idea. Karma means individuality. A jiva bhava. So your real nature is freedom from jiva, but you take to be an individual struggling. Okay. In your real nature, in your swarupa, you are free from individuality. You are an infinite being. Your infinite being is misunderstood to be a struggling being, a struggling individual. Okay? An infinite being which is in deep sleep, infinite being which is found in deep sleep, is misunderstood, is misperceived as a struggling individual. Okay? Therefore, in order to correct this misunderstanding, he is reversing that. Shankaracharya says, karma karmanor viparyayena grihite, karma karmani, pranibhihi, tad viparyaya grahana nivrityartham. To correct this misunderstanding, Bhagavan Krishna is using a reverse language, a reverse expression. In the beginning that expression looks all reverse. Why is it telling see akarma in the karma? Because you have misunderstood your freedom as bondage. You have misunderstood your infinite being as an individual, struggling individual. Okay? Your real nature is infinite being, non-struggling being, a free being, a being free from struggle. Okay? A being free from a struggling individual. That free being is misunderstood as a struggling individual, the waking individual. Therefore, the taking yourself to be a waking individual is a wrong understanding, is a wrong thinking. Therefore, to correct this wrong understanding, say there is an underlying your real being. See that karmani akarmaya pasha. See the struggling individual. See the underlying, what is underlying the struggling individuality. Therefore, akarma, a freedom from individuality is akarma. That is a being, infinite being. See the infinite being underlying the struggling individuality. Okay? See that Brahma Swarupam underlying your Jiva Bhava. Jiva Bhava is a misperception about your real nature. Okay? You got it? Karmani akarma yapashet. Falsify the karma. Negate the individuality and see the underlying, the real nature, the source, the Swarupam, the real nature. Karmani akarmaya pashet, akarmani cha karmayaha. And the physically being an individual, when you are struggling, you think that you will stop your work. It's like a car in a slope. Car in a slope, you apply the brake and you think that car is not moving. Car is not moving means what? Visibly it is not moving. It is not appearing to be moving. But the source means the force, because of which the car is pushed, the force is there. Force is not removed. It is tentatively neutralized by the opposite force. A force is tentatively neutralized. Neutralized means what? The force, the expression of force is neutralized. Force is not neutralized. There is a force in the car in a slope. It is in a car, if it is moving, it has got a force. By applying the opposite force, the external movement becomes invisible. Okay? But the cause of the movement, the force is there in the car. The force remains. Similarly, physically you may not sit idle. Even if you are sitting idle, the force of the struggle, that individuality remains. The force of the struggle is individuality. Okay? The force of the struggle is individuality because it is individual who wants to become. So that individual who wants to become is tentatively take a drug and snub your mind. Okay? You take a drug and snub your mind. Tentatively you may be forcibly not struggling. You may be just sitting idle. But when you are sitting idle, also is karma. He says, akarmani cha karmayaha. Physically, forcibly you avoid work. Forcibly you avoid your work. That means forcibly you are sitting idle. Forcibly sitting idle or take a drug and remain lazy and idle. Remaining idle or lazy is also another karma, because the individuality which is pushing you to karma is not removed. You have not become free from individuality. Jiva Bhava is not yet removed. As a Jiva you are sitting idle, therefore the karma is already there. Karma is only tentatively suspended, but the force of the karma is there. The forcefulness is there. Because of by applying the opposite force tentatively you stop it. You can't stop it for long. After some time it will come with a redouble force. Okay? It will come. How long you can remain lazy? Even if you are a biggest champion of laziness, you can remain for half an hour or 1 hour. Beyond that you can't do it. After some time something pushes you and you will be acting again. Therefore, akarmani cha karmayaha. One who sees physically not doing, holding your mind forcibly is also a karma. Real akarma is transcending the all individuality, the whole waking state as a wrong perception, understanding your being which is free from all this is akarma. Now we understand karmani akarmaya pashe, akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manusheshu, and he is a wise man because he understands the truth. Sayuktaha, he is a yogi. He is a yogi. Okay, what is yogi? What is this thing? We'll see in the next class. Kritsna karma krit. He has fulfilled all his karma. That means all that needs to be done, he has done already. By being a timeless, by being a timeless being, by understanding a timeless being, you have become free from the individuality. Becoming free from the individual, being free from very individuality, you have fulfilled all your life. Whatever is needs to be done, you have already achieved it, because all achievements are full in your nature. Okay, therefore, sayukta krishna karmakrit. Buddhiman manusheshu, this point has to be explained. Then he is a yuktaha, has to be explained. And krishna karmakrit, these three words have explained. First line we have explained elaborately in 3 classes. Now the next three words we will explain in the next class. Once again, I am very sorry today I am very late because somebody came at the last minute. Now there was no way I had to speak to him because I was late by 10 minutes. Generally I am not late. Next time I'll keep the time. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.